Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I have a quick mail day. This is actually going to be my mail day for the entirety of the month. It's been a little while since I ordered some things, mostly because I did an SGC order last month and I was kind of focused on selling cards in order to be able to earn up enough cash to be able to purchase the card that's on your right here. So these are the three things I've shared with you previously on the channel that were all August acquisitions, either through a card show or through purchase on eBay. But before I begin, I actually have tickets for the White Sox game on Sunday. And the only reason that I bring that up is because they're playing the New York Mets, and the White Sox are very capable of losing 3 in a row, which they've done numerous times throughout the season. They've gotten swept. Well, if that were to happen, they would actually set the franchise record for most losses in a season. I'm not looking forward to maybe being present for that milestone, but it will be something where there's a story with it I guess I'll never forget. Remember that time I went to the White Sox game and they set the franchise record for losses? I also have tickets for their last home game this season coming up in September, so I might even see history that day where they might set the major league record. So stay tuned. I'll tell you all about my experiences at the ballpark, and just as we are winding down the season here, they need technically, I think, 12 wins. I think to avoid setting the all-time mark for most losses in a season and also having the worst winning percentage in a season since 1900. So that's going to be a tall task. So they haven't won 12 games in a month all season. So it's going to be very interesting down the stretch. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get closer to the end of the baseball season, but also kind of talk about the players and the teams that are going to be featured in the postseason. So as I kind of have here, I have the 2 cards that I picked up at the beginning of the month when I was at the card show with Jason, Everyday Collector, and Steve, who does Vintage on Vintage, who are 2 local guys to the Chicago area. We all went as a group to the card show. And then the Yogi Berra that I featured over the course of this past week, including a live stream that I did this past Wednesday evening. So feel free to check those things out on the channel. I can show you how I acquired these cards and things like that, but I'm going to show you everything that I picked up in the mail over the course of the last couple weeks, and some of them are going to be part of the transaction when I picked up this Yogi. So the same seller it was one of those big sellers that's a consignment seller on eBay, and so they had a lot of things going up for sale over the course of a couple days. I lost out on just about every item except for like the 3 things I'm going to show you here. 1 was kind of a toss-in, 2 were more targeted items. We're going to start with more of the toss-in one. It's actually a modern card. It's actually a Derek Jeter card. This is the SP from 2021 Topps Series 2. I think this was the Didi Gregorius card. It was the SP for it. I just thought it was kind of a cool looking image when I saw it up for sale, and it didn't cost really much at all. And it was already graded, and it has this full career line on the back, which is pretty cool. So happy to kind of have that in the collection, in my Derek Jeter collection, even though I don't usually buy post-playing day cards for players, but that one just kind of was a toss-in. It wasn't very expensive. The next acquisition was kind of a targeted item. This is actually the 2016 Topps Sapphire of Albert Pujols. It's a little hard to see here. Maybe you can see it a little bit better in the light. It's got sort of that cracked ice effect. Well, the Sapphire sets in 2016, they were not released in any sort of retail-only hobby boxes. They were only released in factory set form. And then they had like a couple cards in there that would have been like gold refractors or something like that. Potentially, I think even maybe one-of-ones could have been amongst that group within the complete set box. They only printed 250 of these, and this was intended to be the 65th anniversary kind of special online exclusive item. And this was the only Albert Pujols main Sapphire cards, not including some of the ones that were like in 2020 update, that I still needed. So I'm happy to be able to acquire this. It got a print run of 250. And I'm going to send this in for grading at some point. It might be part of the SGC special going on right now, so I'm happy to be able to pick up that card, and at some point I'll show you all the Sapphire ones I have of Albert Pujols. Maybe post-grading might be a good time to do that. But the other targeted item I got in there was this 1960 Sandy Koufax. So the 1960 Topps set is one of those sets that eventually I want to be able to finish, so I was actually trying to broaden my search beyond just the Diamond Stars and 53 Bowmans when I was doing this, to include some of those sets like 56 Topps, 1960 Topps. And so I ran across this really beautiful copy of the Sandy Koufax card. PSA 5, I think, is pretty good for me. So I'll put this guy off the side, and I'll just put him right in the center, and I'll kind of replace some of the cards as we go through the rest. So the rest are all going to be all modern cards, and I kind of went on this little kick of looking up cards predominantly of Albert Pujols, but then by doing so, I stumbled across some other cards that I was able to pick up. So let's do, so I mentioned in one of my last videos that I'm actually looking to do the Heritage Chrome Refractors for Derek Jeter and Albert Pujols. Well, I got two of them here. I got the 2021, which is based on the 72 set. This is numbered out of 572, and then I got the 2019 based on the 1970 set, which is numbered out of 570. Both have like a really nice shine on there. So I'm really happy to have these in my collection. At some point, I would like to get those graded, possibly also at the SGC order. Also stumbled across this at a really good price. I was able to make an offer, and it was accepted at a price that I thought was more than fair. This is the green version of the Top Sapphire card, so it's the green refractor. It's got that cracked ice effect still. This was his final season, even though he got a player card the final year. The next year in the 2023 set, but this is from the update set. It's numbered out of 75. You can see up here in the corner, it's 33 of 75. So really cool looking card of Albert Pujols. Happy to be able to have that one in my collection there too. All right, so Jimmy Rollins. So I wasn't necessarily planning to get my Jimmy Rollins graded, but when you find one that's already graded for less than $10 with shipping, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So it's part of the 2001 set. So I'm gonna take that Jimmy Rollins, and it's gonna be added into my collection. So, and actually on the card itself, I mean, PSA kind of grades these maybe a little more difficult than I would say SGC did in my experience. I think I see a little bit of dirt on sort of the gold foil surface. Maybe this corner here is just a little tipped. So I thought a 7 might have been kind of a harsh score and may have come out as an 8 with SGC. So really good looking card. I was looking at my watch list too, and I had this one on my watch list forever. You know, it's not going to be the highest grade, and that's okay, but I couldn't find really a major flaw with the card in the way it appeared. And this is the 2004 Topps Gold Ken Griffey Jr., which is one of my favorite designs of the early 2000 sets, beyond obviously 2001. This one's going to be numbered out of 2004, and this is card number 471. I just think it's a really beautiful image, him trying to make a play on the center field fence. I couldn't tell you what stadium he was at based on this picture, but yeah, it's really nice when you can add like a Ken Griffey Jr., numbered Ken Griffey Jr. card in your collection for, again, less than 20 bucks with shipping included. And as I mentioned, I did do more Albert Pujols. So the next three are going to be Albert Pujols cards. Let's start with maybe the repeat. So shortly after I acquired, let me pull this one. Shortly after I acquired this one, I actually ended up winning an auction for this one. It's already graded, so it's a PSA 10, so I don't need to go ahead and grade the other one. It's a PSA 10 copy of the same card. It is just flawless. It's a beautiful card to look at. So we're gonna, unfortunately, Sandy, we're gonna take you down. Put the Albert Pujols in the middle here. And then I got another gold card. This is going to be another Albert Pujols card, but it's the 2008. 2008 Topps gold card. This is going to be numbered out of 2008. This is card number 342 of that print run. What I liked about the back here is if you look really closely, they talk about him being obviously very patient at the plate, as he went 109 straight plate appearances last season without striking out, nearly going fan-free in September, which is kind of crazy when I think about it now. When you think of like some of the strikeout totals you see of players now that have that 3 outcome, whether it be home run, walk, or strikeout, to just see a player of his caliber really just being super patient at the plate, which kind of persisted towards the end of his career. When I look at some of his other cards, his strikeouts did go up a little bit as his swing was getting a little bit slower, but he always had a really good eye at the plate and continued to walk pretty well towards the end of his career. Obviously not at the heights during his early part of his career when he was walking over 100 times a season, but he still did pretty well. And then we have another one, actually. So we have one more, and this is the last card I have to share with you, is another Topps Heritage Refractor. This is the 2014, which is numbered out of 565. And this one's in a PSA 9, based on the 1965 Topps set design. So there you go. Some nice little pickups there of modern cards. Really happy with really all the acquisitions. I think of the ones I picked up this month, my 3 favorite cards. Well, this is going to be a toughie. We're going to have to put in Yogi again, of course. He's going to be at the top of the list. This T206 Piedmont Tannehill, Lee Tannehill. He's got to go in there. I'm going to take down this gold version because it's maybe not the best image of Albert Pujols. And then, oh man, it's a tough call, man, between the Sandy Koufax. And it's not based on value. It wouldn't be a value purchase. It's a tough call between, I think, 3 cards. These are the 3. Well, actually, no. It's going to be these 3. It's going to be the Sapphire. It's going to be this Heritage Chrome over here. And the Sandy Koufax. I'm going to probably have to go with this one. Just because I've been trying to complete that run for at least a year now, and I was trying to find that card at a reasonable price, so it was really good to find one at auction. Well, that is it, guys. Lots of chrome cards here, which is a little different normally on my channel. Some gold cards, which you normally could expect. And then some vintage cards, which, of course, you can expect seeing my channel. So I hope to be back later this weekend, probably on Labor Day itself, with my next Diamond Star stories. I need to pick my player and do a little research on that individual, and I will be back soon with that video. And looking forward to having a great weekend, and I hope you are as well. So have a wonderful rest of your evening. Happy Labor Day weekend, and go White Sox.